Let's start with something no one has told you. The path to greatness is not paved with balance and moderation. It's built on obsession. Society says to be well-rounded, to not go too far. But think about it. Every extraordinary achievement in history has one thing in common: someone obsessed enough to see it through.
This is the uncomfortable truth. The trait that fuels genius is the very trait you've been warned about. Obsession. That relentless fire that keeps you up when others sleep, that whisper in your mind even when you try to ignore it. You've felt it, haven't you? That sense that being normal and comfortable will never be enough for you. Niccolo Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He looked behind society's polite facades and saw the raw forces that truly move people. In his time, everyone praised virtue and goodness openly, but Machiavelli dared to point out what others wouldn't. Ambition and the hunger for power often shape the world more than noble ideals. He said out loud the secret drives others tried to deny. Those who achieve greatness, he revealed, are often driven by an all-consuming focus that ordinary people avoid. In The Prince, Machiavelli lifts the veil on power. He explains that a leader must be willing to do what others won't, to be bold, decisive, and at times ruthless. Playing it safe, he warns, is a quick path to failure for anyone who seeks a throne. Beneath that counsel lies an acknowledgement of obsession. Machiavelli's ideal prince is so fixated on securing and expanding power that there's no room for half measures or hesitation. That kind of singular focus isn't a flaw in Machiavelli's eyes. It's a necessity for anyone who aims to leave a mark. He observed that human beings are never satisfied. In his discourses on Livy, Machiavelli notes that once people aren't struggling for survival, they start fighting out of ambition, a passion so powerful that no matter how high they climb, they still thirst for more. That endless striving is the engine of human greatness, and also its curse. The very urge that lifts you up can also drive you off a cliff. Machiavelli even advised, better to err through ambition than through sloth. If you're going to make a mistake, make it by trying too hard rather than not trying at all. Fortune, he believed, favors the bold, those who act decisively while others hesitate. Caution and moderation might keep you safe, but they'll never lift you above mediocrity. Picture Cesare Borgia at the height of his campaign, a duke with murder in his smile and destiny in his eyes, cutting a bloody path through Italy. He was the son of a pope and enjoyed privilege. But mere privilege wasn't enough. He wanted absolute power. When he invited his rivals to a friendly meeting, he welcomed them with feasts and courtesy, and then had them eliminated, cold and calculated. Machiavelli watched Borgia from the sidelines, both impressed and unsettled. And for a moment, Borgia almost had it all. With his enemies gone and his territory expanding, nothing seemed able to stop him. His relentless focus and ruthless tactics were paying off. He was turning chaos into order under his command. This is the power of obsession. Borgia's single-minded drive nearly unified a fractured land. But then fortune shifted. His father died suddenly, and Borgia himself was struck by a severe illness. In mere months, the foundation of his power crumbled. All the obsession in the world couldn't stop that twist of fate. Cesare Borgia's drive had carried him higher than anyone imagined, and it left him just as swiftly. His story shows that the same obsession that elevates you can, when luck runs out, become your undoing. Now consider Napoleon Bonaparte, a man who rose from obscurity to shake the world's foundations. He began as a mere artillery officer, yet through brilliance and sheer will, he climbed the ranks. He won battles others thought unwinnable and amassed power with each victory. Eventually, Napoleon crowned himself Emperor of the French, turning the ideals of a revolution into a personal empire. Even as emperor, he was not satisfied. While others might have rested on such laurels, Napoleon's obsession only grew. He dreamed of bending all Europe to his will. He moved with relentless energy, treating entire nations like pieces on a chessboard. His hunger for conquest was insatiable, a drive to etch his vision onto the map of the world, no matter the cost. But that same obsession pushed him too far. Unable to stop himself, he chased one more war, one more conquest. He marched his grand army into the expanse of Russia, as if sheer will could conquer the brutal cold. It could not. The campaign failed disastrously. Napoleon's invincibility shattered. He ended up exiled and defeated. His obsession had made him a legend, and it led him to ruin. Fast forward to the modern era. Picture Steve Jobs standing in a dimly lit workshop, eyes burning with the vision of a new kind of personal computer. He wasn't a general or a prince, but he was a leader of a different sort. A visionary utterly obsessed with perfection. From the start, Jobs believed he could change the world through technology, and that belief consumed him. Jobs would spend hours agonizing over the curve of a font, the shade of a casing, the feel of a button. He pushed design beyond what anyone thought possible. To many, it looked like madness. A fanatical attention to detail, a reality distortion field where only his vision mattered. But through that intensity, he achieved what had seemed impossible. Devices that reshaped daily life. That obsession propelled Apple from a garage startup to one of the world's most influential companies. But it came at a cost. Jobs could be mercurial and harsh. He was even ousted from the company he founded, though he returned years later in triumph. His relentless drive often strained his relationships. In the end, Steve Jobs' obsession revolutionized technology, but it also exacted a heavy personal toll. It was both his superpower and, at times, his curse. What unites these people across different eras and fields is that fire that never let them rest. Obsession was their engine and their compass. We admire their achievements now: a unified land, an empire, revolutionary technology. But behind each triumph was someone who surrendered ordinary comforts for a singular vision. They were later praised as geniuses and conquerors. But during the journey, they walked through hell. The world sees the outcome and applauds. The obsessed endure the journey no one else would. Modern psychology is starting to confirm what these figures intuitively knew. Researchers use terms like grit, but the pattern is clear. Extraordinary achievement demands extraordinary drive. Think about it. Would an athlete punish their body day after day without an almost irrational desire to win? Would a scientist toil on a dismissed theory without a deep need to find the answer? Ordinary motivation isn't enough for extraordinary results. We praise passion. It sounds positive and safe. But obsession makes us uneasy. Yet they're really two shades of the same color. Passion kept in check might win you friends, but only obsession will drive you to relentless lengths. Great achievers rarely lead balanced lives. To a normal person, their routines look extreme, even crazy. But without that extreme focus, the breakthroughs that change the world would never happen. Of course, obsession has a dark side. Burnout is real. The collapse that comes when mind and body are pushed past their limit. History is full of prodigies who burned out and brilliant minds that fell into despair. Devoting yourself entirely to one thing means other parts of life will wither. Relationships, health, peace of mind. Those who chase one dream to the exclusion of all else often pay a steep price. Let's be honest. If you want to be the best at something, balance isn't part of the deal, not during the climb. While others relax, you will practice. While they stay comfortable, you will choose sacrifice and discomfort to grow. That is the price of admission for greatness. You have to give up to go up. Rockets don't reach space by coasting. They demand explosive force. This isn't a blanket endorsement to ruin yourself for a goal. It's about understanding the cost. Obsession needs direction and control, or it becomes self-destruction. If you give yourself over to a calling or a craft, do it with eyes open. Make sure it's a path you truly believe in, because you will sacrifice for it. The goal isn't to destroy yourself in the name of success. It's to accept that extraordinary success demands extraordinary effort. The key is to let obsession drive you, not destroy you. So ask yourself, is there something that calls to you? Some dream that lights a fire in your soul even when you try to ignore it? Maybe you've been afraid to give it your all because it seems impractical, because it isn't normal. Maybe you keep it as a harmless daydream while living a life that feels smaller than what you know deep down you could attempt. That quiet voice in your mind that keeps nudging you. What if it's right? What if that unreasonable passion is exactly what you're meant to pursue? Most people won't answer that call, and that's okay. There's no judgment if you choose not to walk that path. A life of regular hours, warm relationships, and modest goals is perfectly fine. It's safe and human. Obsession isn't required for a good life. Happiness can be simple. Contentment is an honorable goal. But if you feel that restless fire inside, if contentment slips through your fingers because you hunger for more, then you have a decision to make. This is the paradox of obsession. It can elevate you to heights you never imagined, and it can also plunge you into depths you never wanted to face. It's both creative and destructive. On one hand, it gives you purpose, focus, a reason to leap out of bed with your heart on fire. On the other, it can isolate you and burn you out. It can build and it can break. When you walk the path of obsession, you will often walk alone. Friends and family might not understand why you give so much of yourself to one thing. There will be nights when the world is asleep and it's just you and your work, chasing a vision only you can see. You'll miss out on some of the easy pleasures others enjoy. You may even feel like a stranger among them, yet that solitude can also be your forge. In those quiet hours, free from others' expectations, you can hone your craft. You can listen to the truth within you without distraction. Alone with your obsession, you become both the blacksmith and the steel, refining yourself in the fire of your will. Make no mistake, there will be pain. Obsession will expose your weaknesses and test every part of you. Others might call you fanatical, reckless, even insane for prioritizing an idea above everything else. You have to be ready for that. Not out of arrogance, but out of understanding. Most people can't see what you see. They will fear or dismiss what they don't understand. This path isn't for them. It's for you. Obsession can consume your mind. It's a voluntary madness. You might bolt awake at 3 a.m. with a new idea and be unable to rest until you act on it. You will push your body and mind beyond their comfortable limits. Exhilarating, yes, but also exhausting. There will be moments when you wonder if you've gone too far, when you fear the world might be right about you. Those moments are scary, but they also show you what you're made of. Yet paradoxically, that chaos at the edge of your limits is where the magic happens. By testing your boundaries, you expand them. Obsession opens a hidden room in your mind, one most people never enter. In that room lie innovations and insights that remain invisible to the well-adjusted. The very thing that makes obsession frightening is what makes it powerful. Ironically, the world often only values this kind of obsessive effort after it succeeds. In the moment, you might be mocked or doubted. Crazy, until the day your crazy idea actually works. Then suddenly you're called a genius, so you cannot rely on applause or understanding. You need to trust yourself. Develop an inner compass to guide you, because the crowd can't envision what you can. That inner conviction will be your light when you're trudging through the dark and no one is cheering you on. There will be dark nights of the soul, times when nothing works, when you feel utterly alone and on the brink of failure. These moments are a crossroads. You either break and turn back, or you find a new resolve to push forward. This is the crucible where greatness is forged. Not in easy success, but in the grit it takes to continue when every voice, inside and out, screams at you to quit. Here's a harsh truth. Even if you give everything you have, you might still fail. Obsession doesn't guarantee victory. It only makes victory possible. You could pour years into your dream and watch it collapse. That risk is real, and many people can't accept it. Who can blame them? To stake your identity and years of your life on a goal with no promise of success is terrifying. So why do it? Why risk all that heartbreak and uncertainty? Because for some, the alternative is even worse. To them, not reaching for greatness feels like a death of the spirit. They'd rather crash and burn trying than live safely with the regret of never knowing. In the end, obsession is a kind of devotion, a fire you tend with your whole being. If it's directed at something true to your soul, it gives life profound meaning. But like any fire, it must be controlled and well placed, or it can consume everything. The difference between transformation and destruction lies in whether you control the obsession or it controls you, and whether the goal is worth the sacrifice. Machiavelli recognized that this relentless drive is rare. Most people never dare to light that kind of fire within because they fear it might burn everything down. They choose the comfort of the familiar over the uncertainty of greatness. And that is why truly transformative achievements are so scarce. Not because they're impossible, but because they demand a price few are willing to pay. Now you've seen what obsession can do. Its creative fury and its destructive potential. This knowledge might unsettle you, but it is also power. You can no longer pretend that great success is just luck or talent. You see the truth. It takes a piece of your soul. And with that understanding comes a choice that only you can make. And now, you have a decision to make. You can try to forget these uncomfortable truths, go back to life as usual, or you can carry this insight with you and let it change the way you pursue your goals. But know this, if you stay still, you will fall back asleep. And if you slip back into that comfortable sleep, you know what awaits. Another life on autopilot. Before you go, I challenge you to do one thing. Write down one sentence in the comments or just for yourself that is brutally honest about what you really want. Not a polite answer, not what you think you're supposed to say, but the truth you've been avoiding. Let that be the moment you stop lying to yourself. Disappear from this screen now and return to your life. Live it fully, with this truth quietly burning inside you. And when you're ready for the next step, come back. I'll be here, as I always am, at the edge, where greatness begins.